Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com, and welcome back to our final installation on our 2009 YFZ450R top-end project. Pretty much all we have to do now is just finish getting it assembled and fire it up. So if you're ready, let's go. Welcome to the tool bench. Listen, depending on which episode you're watching right now, I'm going to go over all the tools you're going to need to either take it apart or put it back together. So let's go through it. On the ratchet side, as always, we're going to have a 3/8 and a 1/4 inch. You're going to have various sockets associated with that, ranging from an 8 up to a 17. The only oddball one is this thin-walled 16. On the Allen side, you need to go all the way down to a 3 and up to this 14. On the extensions, you want to have varying lengths to get in and around the engine. Just makes life simpler. The wrench side, really short, just a 10 and a 12. Decent set of side cutters, needle nose pliers, a couple of different pick tools. Always like having a little magnet extension as well. Never hurts to have around. A couple of standard screwdrivers, flat blade and Phillips. And then you also want to have a good breaker bar. You also want to have a good torque wrench because it's going to be definitely needed when we go to put everything back together. Now, if you would, reference our exploded parts diagrams. That's going to give you a very clear picture of how everything's going to come apart and, more importantly, how it's going to go back together. So once you've got your tools and your parts together, we can go over there and I can walk you through it. So let's go. All right, guys, when we left off, I had just installed the spark plug. Now we just need to finish that off by putting in the spark plug cap. From there, we're going to connect our radiator lines up to the top of the engine and its associated clamp. All right, let's get this front cable bracket on. Next, let's go ahead and do the upper engine mount because you still need some room to wiggle around there, and I don't want to do the intake before this goes in place. The trick with this bracket is to get it in place and start your upper bolts and then put the bolt through that goes actually through the head. All right, so we've got our upper head mount bolt in place. We can just snug these down and then we'll torque them here in a couple of minutes. All right, before we put this cover on, what I want to do is just rotate it over one time to make sure I don't have any interference. Yeah, there's your compression. So we're good to go. All right, our top two bolts are 24 foot-pounds, and then that 8mm Allen is going to be 29. All right, with that bracket in place, we can go ahead and get on our breather hose that goes to the valve cover. Snake this around, and then get this line attached, like so. You got a couple of 5mm Allens, one on the side right here. Then go and start the one on the front and get those snug down. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take care of getting the intake put on to the throttle body. And I want to take note of the clamp has this little indentation up at the top. There'll be a corresponding section of the intake boot where that needs to slide on. All right, next, we need to get the throttle body pushed in, and I usually use a little bit of parts cleaner, just spray down on the front edge. That makes it easier for it to go in. There she goes. And then there's a 4mm Allen that you need to tighten back down on the clamp. Next, we want to bring in the airbox, wiggle it onto the back side of the throttle body, and then get it bolted in place. Same trick as before, wet the intake boot. All right, I've got her down and into place, but now we got to make sure that we push it forward to get the boot up onto the throttle body. That should be it. Now we can reach in there and tighten that rear clamp. All right, let's get these two bolts on the back of the airbox. Then we're going to drop down to the side where this little breather adapter box mounts to the airbox. And then there's just a single 10mm bolt that goes in. All right, we're going to go ahead and get at least 2 of these bolts in for this bracket. There's a piece of the bodywork that actually gets sandwiched in there. So we'll leave these other 2 bolts out for the time being. Then we're going to move on to the exhaust system. Going to do the head pipe first, then the muffler. My gasket, the copper one that goes up inside the head, it actually looks okay, so I'm going to go ahead and torque it back down. But if it leaks, man, I'll just pull it back off later and replace it. When you're putting this piece on, you just want to get it in place and just start these 2 12mm bolts, but don't tighten it down yet, because we need to go ahead and shimmy the muffler on there to get it to line up right, because there's a whole lot of play here. And the chances of you guessing exactly which angle it's going to be, pretty much about 0. All right, with both of those at least started, now we can go ahead and tighten the 2 exhaust bolts. Get this junction right here, and then the muffler mount bolts. Next, we need to get in that little tray that goes below the fuel tank. Just lays in there like that. Next, let's lay in our fuel tank. Drop it down, just shimmy it forward. Just 1 bolt back at the back. Reconnect our fuel line. And then push that down. Connect up the power. And now let's go ahead and fill our cooling system. Before I can fill it, I need to replace the drain bolt, which is right down here. All right, now with that in place, we can go ahead and start refilling it. Its total capacity should be around 1.3 quarts. We've put in 1, and it's pretty much up to the top. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and top off the reservoir down here, put the cap on, and then we're going to do our first start. Let it idle for a couple of minutes, then we'll come back and check it. So I was getting ready to fill up the reservoir for the radiator, and that fluid's looking a little rough. So I'm going to use this brake bleed Mighty Vac, pull out the fluid that was in there, and refill it with some fresh coolant. Now, let's go ahead and get it refilled. There we go. Get our line back in there. All right, let's get our radiator cap back on. Let's go ahead and connect up that battery, crank it up, let it idle for about a minute, and then I want to check the level on that radiator fluid. I'm just repriming the fuel system. That should be it. The moment of truth. Here we go. All right, guys, for an initial startup, that sounded pretty good. I went back and I checked the oil level. That's looking good. Added a little bit more coolant. What I want to do next is go ahead and open up this building to where we can actually let it idle without killing ourselves. Get out a fan, get some air going in front of it, and let it idle coming up to temperature. That's going to take in between 5 and 6 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood. And we're going to be watching it the whole time. Make sure there's no leaks, no weird sounds, and just let it come up to temp. What I'm doing right now is using a digital thermometer, and if you don't have one of these devices, just let it idle until the fan comes on, providing, of course, that yours works. Once it's done that, you've completed the first heat cycle. Just at an idle, then we're going to shut it off. Well, all right, guys, that was her first heat cycle. Everything's sounding really good. Once it's cooled down, you want to check your levels just one more time at the radiator, down at your reservoir, and then check your oil. Crank it up one more time, let it idle a few seconds, and then check your level. Well, everything's checked out, so it's time to get the plastics on. Well, all right, guys, that wraps this one up. The only thing I have to do now is take it out and break it in. I typically run them about 45 minutes to an hour, never opening up the throttle all the way and varying my speed a bunch. Well, listen, if you need any parts for your machine, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. Have any questions or comments? Leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. We just want to say thanks for shopping here with us at Partzilla, and if you like what you see, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to our channel, that way you can see what I'm up to next. Listen, again, we want to say thanks for watching and we will see you in the next video. Have a great day.